Welcome to the Blue Room Post match reaction for Everton 2, Ipswich 2, as the race for 13th takes a very late twist. I am joined outside the Denbigh Castle by Keith, Dave, Ed and Foxy. Keith, I think we can run it back to the other week. And what was your sort of description of this game?
It was a thing that happened. Are we happy that it happened? No. Are we sad that it happened? No. It just happened, and no one asked us if we wanted it to happen along the way. We were merely bystanders to the happening. And will we remember this in an hour's time? Probably not.
I mean, one of the most memorable things is that's the fourth time we've thrown away a 2-0 lead this season, and obviously throwing Spurs, which was a 3-0 lead, and we almost threw that away. But anyway, we will dispense with all that. We will first go into it wasn't just about the game today, was it? It was about the occasion. There was a lot of people who had the last game at Goodison Park today. It was Goodison in glorious spring sunshine, if a little bit cold out of the sun. Foxy's here. It was his last time at Goodison. Foxy, what are your reflections on that?
Yeah, that was pretty emotional in the main. I mean, it was my last time for the second time, so I thought the West Ham game would also be my last time, but that wasn't my last time. But today is definitely my last time, because I can't afford Southampton tickets. Not going to happen. That display, the 1878's put on, was sensational. I know Pete from this group is involved. I sat in the Gladys underneath that. I went twice today, emotionally, physically, as a wreck, and the first time was then, and then later on with Elton John. But yeah, that was a beautiful display. The park end for once looked magnificent with respect to the park end.
Just on that, we kind of got had off there because we were holding up these cards in front of our faces and couldn't actually see the whole ticker tape thing in the ground.
It's the best the park end has ever looked.
You've been in the park end, I know you love it. Anyone else got any thoughts on pre-match before we get into the nuts and bolts of what happened on the pitch?
Missed it entirely.
Yeah, thanks
got in as they were kicking off. The trains were late. Well done, Steve Rotherham. Sort Merseyrail out, you absolute carpetbagger.
Ed, what was your experience getting there late then?
I was with Keith, so we got in. I liked it better than him. So
Ed ran. Ed is. I will say this for Ed. Ed is deceptively quick. Right.
Good turn of pace for a big man.
We got across County Road, and we were doing a fast walk up from Kirkdale, and it was quite a fast walk. And I was at circuits this morning, so my thighs are in absolute bits. So I was giving it the best I could. And then Ed just we literally got across County Road to where the programme cellar is on the corner. Ed just ran. It just took off. I'm like, oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought he might make it. Did you make?
I did make it. I'm happy to say I made it like a broken gazelle.
You made it?
A broken gazelle.
Yes.
But I still made it in for kick-off. So Dave, kick-off, I didn't see any of the shenanigans. Well played, the lads that put the lads and lasses, and non-lads and lasses, whatever, who put the time in to set that up today and have done so for 3-4 years now.
Yeah, it's been going on now. It's getting bigger and better, isn't it?
Personally, not my bag. Not something I would ever do, or not something I've ever been interested in. But it does help generate a bit of a buzz around the ground, and fair play to them. Well done.
Dave, what were your thoughts on getting into the ground for that? Is it? It's not your last game, is it? It's your lad's last game, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. I'm like Foxy. I had a piece of white cardboard over my head, and I was trying to look through it and see what was happening. I could just see Goodison Park at the park end. And all the banners and stuff like that. But I mean, Goodison, it's resplendent best. Sunshine, unless you're my side of the ground where we were in the shadows. But I'm sure it'll look great on telly tonight. But it was. They've done the 1878s have done a fantastic job. It's just a shame that the match was a bit of a damp squib.
Yeah, let's get into that
it's
then, shall we?
Everton,
yeah, come on.
Where do you want to start, Ed?
Let's tell you what. Let's start a team selection, because seeing the team selection that he had put in Alcaraz and Dye, McNeil were playing, which meant Jack Harrison was out, which meant Decore was out. It's kind of the team a lot of us have been angling for, I think. And I thought for the
Twitter 11 today.
It was the Twitter 11, yeah. But I think for the majority of the game, we kept hold of the ball well. We played it nicely and kept control up front, I'd say, for large parts of the game. But again, the incisiveness wasn't quite there.
Like you say, they kept the ball well. We passed it around nicely. There was There was a bit of sort of pace about it. Alcaraz on the ball and Dye on the ball were very positive, looking to get forward, looking to play those balls in. But then as soon as we got within 20 yards, it all sort of, not so much broke down, but I think they made the wrong choices on a few of the balls. Like a few times there was an easy ball on and they went for the more difficult one and it's run through at the keeper and stuff. Against a team like Ipswich, maybe you just got to keep the ball, just recycle it and try again. I thought we looked good. Like, well, maybe not good. Maybe just short of good.
Yeah.
I thought we looked respectable until about the hour mark, and then things started breaking down a bit once Dwight McNeil, his lungs gave out. And
Yeah, we'll get there.
he was, for me, for the 70 odd minutes he was on the pitch, like head and shoulders the best footballer on the park.
Yeah,
I thought he was superb today.
I think that sort of front three, Foxy behind Beto at first, I think they interchanged quite nicely. I think they there were times in the first half certainly where they pulled in quite tight for the fullbacks to overlap, which isn't something we've seen much now. Let's not talk too much about the fullbacks because he didn't have the best days, but it looked something different, didn't it? And it filled me with a little bit of hope that if we can sign Alcaraz, maybe keep those three together, there could be something there with obviously a better striker up front.
Yeah, I felt. I mean, Alcaraz, we've got to sign him. We've got to sign him. We can play in quite a few different positions for 12 or so million quid. I think he will either be cover in the first team. I think he reminds me of so many different players at the same time. Bits of him remind me a bit of Denbigh, bits from Pienaar, bits of Richarlison, Cahill. He will be the best of all of them. I'm probably going a bit far there, but I think like he
You don't want to
plays
get carried away.
No, I never do that. But in terms of the three, it was just nice to see us pass the ball to each other.
Yeah.
We didn't have Decore. Maybe we lacked a bit of what Decore does off the ball, but we certainly didn't miss what he does on the ball. So in terms of retaining it and passing to a fellow person in blue, we did it really well. And we had some lovely movement. It was all down the far side to me, so I couldn't see it that clearly. But it just actually felt like we were a football team for lots of it. And I'm still quite confused by the result that we didn't win, because it felt like that was generally quite a good performance.
Yeah.
And we came away without a scoreline that gave us 3 points. But no, I thought that front three was good. And I think to the point before, that was the Twitter 11. And when that came out, I was like, yeah, where's the Corey? Yeah, this is what I want. This is ideal. Everton win this. Yeah.
See, moaning on Twitter can work. One thing I like about Ndai and Alcaraz, Dave, is the work rate as well, because they don't give up on a lost cause, which I think we saw with Alcaraz for the first goal. So the ball it sort of broke loose. He was the first to, and then he put in that lovely cross, and it was a great header from Beto, wasn't it?
Absolutely tremendous. Yeah, he is a more than a hard-working midfielder, attacking midfielder. I thought he was a bloody nuisance today, as was Ndai as well. That period we had in the second half, about 65 minutes, where we didn't drop the ball at all for about what felt like about 5 minutes was really impressive. Was it from a free kick, the cross, or was it a cross from open play?
Open play.
It was from open play.
Yeah.
Well, it was beautiful considering the amount of overhit crosses that we saw today, or ones that were falling a bit short. It was great, and Beto, well, all 6'4", 6'5" of him, towered and hit the back of the net. And as I said before, risk of repeating myself, I just thought, here we go. This is going to be a lovely afternoon. I'm just really frustrated by that result today. It was really sticking in my teeth.
Yeah, it was unfathomable, I think, from my head. What did you think of the front players? Did you think there's something in that? Obviously, we need to add more to it, but do you think that's a good basis to build on for next season? Should we sign Alcaraz?
There's certainly promise. I think the defence I'll give them today is they're playing a game very alien to them, which we haven't had in years. Is dominating possession, playing very far forward. The full-backs, let's not talk about them too much, like you said, incredibly advanced, which is just not a game that Everton have played in a long, long time. And Ipswich were putting everyone behind the ball. We're not really smart, or as you said, incisive enough to pick that. And I'll be honest, I was very surprised we went 2-0 up. And I was very surprised they scored 2 as well. It was quite a 0-0 game to me, to be honest. It was us being cancelled out quite a lot. But you saw today, I think, in the team and a lot of the players who played, not all of them, but a lot, is the blueprint of what we want. Players who do work hard and do defend, but are confident on the ball. I think that's the thing that we've lacked, is confidence. And certainly under Deitch. The difference I saw today is when we had the ball, maybe at full back, maybe at centre back, instead of going, oh, I don't know what to do, lump it was, we'll recycle, we'll move it around, we'll go to the full back, we'll go back, doesn't matter. And we kept the ball fairly well, and I think a draw's fine because ultimately we didn't really create enough. But there's something there. It's a bit of a backseat for me.
It's hard to come out too disappointed, isn't it? I mean, it's disappointing we drew, but there was a lot there to be happy with. I think.
I think we were all distracted. Yeah. All of us, players, us as fans. Like Foxy, I am very much on my last encore now. We're waving and saying goodbye, so I was thinking about that too much.
How did that feel then?
It was something, I was sitting with a friend today and I was pointing him to all the places I've been, and I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Every part of the ground. I've been on the pitch twice. I've been lucky to play at Goodison. And I was thinking of all the memories today.
We won a trophy at Goodison, mate.
We won a trophy at Goodison Park.
We won a trophy at Goodison.
I don't want to blow my trumpet too much, but I did score a penalty in the winning shootout.
Same.
Correct.
Champions again, ole ole.
Winners. I'll tell you what, just before I bring in Dave Downey and we speak about the game, let's quickly, just one word answer. What's your favourite part of the ground?
I like the paddock.
Paddock.
Safe snarling section.
Dave?
I sit in the paddock.
They're all horrible. Everyone in the paddock is horrible.
It's supposed to be like quite family friendly, and it really hasn't been for many years. I've always been fascinated by the gantry on the Bullings Road. I'd have given me back. I'd pay good money to go up there and have a wander around.
Yeah.
But I'd probably say where I am in the paddock. Yeah.
It's hard. I'm going to say Upper Gladys. I think I've done them all. They're all great in their own way, apart from the paddock, which, as you say, is a zoo. But yeah, the Upper Gladys for me.
Errol, I genuinely don't think there is a single linesman or assistant referee or whatever we're calling them these days who has ran the line in front of the paddock and not come away questioning their life choices.
We are single-handedly upholding the sports therapist industry because there are officials going in there for weeks and weeks trying to get us out of their minds, and it's mostly because of the paddock.
This is the big thing for me when we move across to Bramley Moor. We need at least 1/4 of the pitch along the touchline to be absolutely vile.
Yeah.
Like, horrible. We're talking taking antisocial behaviour to the next level.
I mean, it's definitely something in that part of the ground itself, because, as you know, I'm very mild-mannered. Football doesn't turn me into a maniac. And the only time I've been in the paddock, I got my collar felt by a busy 30 seconds into Everton Newcastle when we beat them 2-0 on the opening day in 95, 96, was it? So that's the only time I've been in there, and yeah, turned me feral. So, Foxy, favourite place in the ground?
Park End.
Obviously.
Lower Bullens, honestly. The Lower Bullens bit you can actually see the game from. So not the back of the Lower Bullens, but the bit that's at front bit of Lower Bullens.
Top balcony for me. Right, Dave, what's yours?
Mine's the same as the paddock. It's an education, and I'm pretty sure it helped me fail a couple of GCSEs. That place made the language unbelievable, like, and he got it like just an A in English literature, and once an A star, and it was because I was sat on the paddock and two fellas behind me. Just a quick one here, two fellas sat behind me. You know when you never dare to look who's behind you. It was when I was a kid, and the season ticket was 99 quid then. It was about like 02, something like that. And the voices you hear behind you, like, I don't want to turn around and ever have a conversation with this fella. And I was like 13, 14 years old. And he said like he's abusing the line and all that. And if he put his flag up, like, it just felt like he was going to run on the pitch. And one time he said, "I'm going to throw me lighter at you." I'm not joking. Turned around, looked at his lighter, and it was like a cube. It was like, I'm not joking, mate.
Well, it was not much like 8-ball lighters or something.
Yeah, honestly, it was like that. And I thought, how's he got that in here? Yeah, so the paddock, was an education.
The language is both industrial and colourful. Anyway, back to the game. Where were we? I think we just scored our first goal to go 1-0 up. We're kind of cruising. We were just saying how much better we looked on the ball today, like in control of the ball. As Ed said, it's not a game the players have been used to at all, really, over the last couple of seasons. But I thought we did it quite well. We held onto the ball quite well.
The amount of freedom we had with the ball going forward was great, and I thought there was like a bit of a blueprint there to how you want to see us play. I mean, we've spoken a while about maybe playing like a 3 behind 1.
It wasn't very much a three, that one, today.
It was, yeah. You had Alcaraz in the middle of them. You had McNeil who tended to drift as well, and Denbigh. Probably the.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the worst performance I've seen from him, but he sort of flitted in and out the game for me. If he was on the form that we've seen him on, then you'd looking at that and thinking there's a real threat here.
It feels like he could be one of those players, though, doesn't it? Whereby he works hard all game, he won't give up any lost cause, but he will have those games probably more often than not where he's just drifts in and out, and that was like today, wasn't it?
That's exactly right, and I thought that he's still that kind of player we've got, isn't he? That you think as soon as you give him the ball, something magic's going to happen, and then you need to sort of take that step back and think, well, there's that old thing they say about Matt Jones all the time. There's a reason, firstly, why he's at Everton, not to do him with the service, but also you're going to get full-backs who are looking before the game, who's Everton's main attack. You're going to go towards him, you're going to double up against him. So he was out of the three that we played there, just behind Beto. He was probably the weakest of the three. It's great to see Alcaraz in that position. I think there was a bit of freedom in terms of how we played, like to drive forward. Loved all the things that I think we wanted to get out of the players. I was happy that Moyes decided to put him there. And like we've said, I think it's a bit of a discussion we've had, what he thinks of him, and I've been edging for a while towards that he won't go and buy him. That today, I don't know, maybe he's...
He can't have done him any harm, can he?
No, that's a good point. I think that is something that where he'll help himself if he performs like that. If he gets to start, he needs to start games, obviously, to see what he's like. Otherwise, we're not going to. But and I thought, that you had the two Ghaners in midfield. But the structure of it was fine. The way in which we set up was absolutely fine. And then I was saying to Foxy then, it's like there's the Bournemouth that happens at the end of the game, there's the Newcastle that happens at the end of the game, there's the Aston Villa that happens at the end of the game. I mean, you're fortunate that it means nothing, but I was checking social on the way down here before, and the level of abuse towards was only getting a draw in that game.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, it's like people saying about Dice back and everything, whether it's bladdered or
yeah, I mean, I don't know. The sense of it, just then it's hard to come out of that game feeling like massively disappointment. It's more of a shrug of the shoulders. That was a bit shit, but we moved.
There was elements of it that felt like the last couple of days of the season game. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you can't take that out of the equation either. We're safe. We've been safe for weeks, and as much as saying goodbye to Goodison, that is a massive thing for everyone. These are professional footballers, and when you put the flip flops on, they're hard to get off.
I mean, that goal we could see, that was unbelievable. That's one.
We're just coming up to McNeil's first, but we'll come on to that.
I was going to say, mate, that strike, what's his name? Nkiso scored. It was unbelievable. And then the one that they scored, I know you're going to get onto it anyway, but just to give my sort of a couple of pence into that, I don't know what O'Brien was playing at when they scored that header. It's right in front of you where it happens, and I've no idea why he's not noticing somebody running in behind him. Doesn't jump. And that was another sort of experiment that we wanted to see with the two big fellas at centre-back. Not sure what everyone's judgment is on that. Yeah,
let's pick up on that, Keith.
Quick one, just while we're talking on Ipswich strikers and obviously MC scoring like that absolute screamer. If we spend £30 million on that Delap in the summer, I will commit atrocities.
He's a yard dog, isn't he?
He is disgustingly bad.
Just when I get here, you start.
He's so...
Dave, this is how I feel every time you say something. This is how I feel every time you say something an hour into mailbag.
I didn't say
an instant reaction. I have to go home and edit this. It's not instant
what
at all.
Atrocities I'd commit. Like, I'm not going to give that game away. I'll wait till they're committed.
Oh, okay.
But genuinely, that is the worst centre-forward performance I've seen at Goodison in a long time, and I include Beto in that, and the other yard dogs that Everton have had up front. That he was so bad.
Yeah.
And we're talking about triggering a £30 million release clause for that.
Did we do that with Beto?
If we spunk our summer budget on him, we've learned no lessons whatsoever. It absolutely stinks of the James Beattie signing.
Yeah, it does.
That's a good shout.
One or two good seasons for some provincial no marks, and then as soon as he comes to a gargantuan institution, just runs around, gets sent off a few times, and then gets sold for a loss in 2 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere near him.
Don't touch him. Don't touch
Dave.
him.
Yes.
Dwight McNeil. So you were right behind his goal. I think most of us here thought it took a massive deflection, but as Keith said before, the keeper did the classic.
The keeper did the classic. It's a deflection reaction. If you're watching on YouTube, well done, because we're not filming this, so I don't know how you're doing it. But he did the jump to one side and then threw his hands up in exasperation as if it was someone else's fault and not just the bendiest shot you have ever seen in your life.
Yeah, he got some power and swerve on it, didn't he, Dave?
Yeah, he's not the quickest runner, but I think he's got a lovely elegance. In cycling
He's slower than a week in walking.
In cycling they call it souplesse. He's got a lovely rhythm to him, and the way he ran onto the ball and he hit it, and I elbowed Tom, who sat next to me, and I could just, as soon as it left his foot, I just knew it was going to go in, and it did swerve, and it did a little bit. It was an absolute thing of beauty. I think I can't believe how much we've missed him.
Yeah.
You know,
it was for
really
me
missed him. He was tremendous today.
A different
really
type of strike, but it was reminiscent of. Do you remember Leon Osborne's goal against City when Joe Hart was absolutely rooted, and he hit it with that much power and swerve?
He missed City.
He
missed City.
No, he didn't.
The pair of them missed it. That Osborne one, he definitely missed it.
The pair of them. Are you saying Dwight McNeil missed it?
Anyway, let's get back to the game in hand. So, Dwight McNeil scored an absolute pearler, which he meant. Everton are cruising with 2-0 up, the sun's shining, everything's great. Thinking to post-match, thinking this is going to be wonderful. And then we let them back in again, albeit with an absolute Foxy. I'll come to you on this one, an absolute screamer of a goal. I'm blaming a bit of the midfield for not closing them down. I'm also blaming Jordan Pickford for getting caught where he was, but it was just a great strike.
Yeah, it's a great hit. It's also one of the weirdest celebrations ever. I don't know if you saw it. So, ball goes in the net, Pickford gets it, boots it. He goes and shakes Pickford's hand. I'm like, what are you shaking? Thank you.
You want to see
thank you for letting the ball in. Thank you for cooking. Sorry, I beat you. I respect you for being a goalkeeper.
It's all very #respect.
That was
it?
weird. It is.
It stinks of rugby. Copyright, Jack.
Calvin Phillips, Dominic Calvert-Lewin cuddle that was right in front of us when they were warming up. So, what happened to footballers not liking each other for 90 minutes?
I'm glad none of the Park End saw that.
So, because the ball's playing at Leeds. The ball's playing at Leeds.
No, he never.
So, where are we? Oh, yes, so they just scored that equaliser. We go in at half-time. We're still thinking, do you know what? It's all right. This game's very much in our hands. And then, I think, like Keith said in the intro, the second half, it just kind of happened, didn't it?
Yeah. To use Keith's words, something happened. We were there and it existed. But it was... I'm still second half. I don't know what happened because I felt we went into... And I thought we'd win 4-5-1 second half. I thought we'd just get control, move it about, connect better with our passing. It felt occasionally we were kind of some new players together, hadn't played for a bit. I thought we'd just gel more second half. And I'm still not really sure how we didn't win that game. But we almost very nearly lost it at the end, which was being a classical end for me at Goodison. Glad it didn't happen. But yeah, second half was a bit of a mystery. I think we didn't really penetrate down the side. So quite often we get the ball out wide. I give a bit of credit to Ipswich. They doubled up on our fullbacks and our wide guys, and we didn't really get any crosses into the box. So the crosses that came through quite deep and high and didn't do anything. But I don't know.
I think
I thought we put some very good crosses in today. McNeil certainly.
Yeah, the one for Beto.
Cutting back onto his left foot, putting some incredible crosses on it. Really dangerous areas where it's sort of a 50-50. It's either a goal or it flies out for a goal kick. But it's in that right space where if you attack it right, it's a goal. I thought we put in some very good crosses today. I thought, for the first time in a long time.
I think it did. It just shows the deficiencies up front again, doesn't it? Because Moyes made the three subs. I think did he make 3, 2, whatever. The subs he made anyway, through no fault of his own, just didn't work. They didn't make the team any better.
Moyes and the subs that you make. Jack Harrison, right? If the rest of Jack Harrison's game was as good as his first touch, he'd be the best footballer in the world. Unfortunately, his second touch is a war crime. Yeah.
It 100% is.
And so bad.
It was noticeable when he came on that right hand side just sort of felt a bit when McNeil came off. I think, like you said before, Dave, he was kind of everything down that side. And yeah, I think we just sort of drifted out of the game at that point. And I think in the end, certainly after they got the goal in that last 6 minutes of injury time, they looked most likely to score, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they did without having too much of a threat, if we're being honest. it's a
Foxy's
sort of...
getting off because you spoke highly about Jack Addison.
Yeah, we've shown him the door. Cheers, Foxy. It was your classic petering out as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think Ipswich offered any shot or anything of that description, but
I think it's just giving them corners and things like that didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, they came to us. Let's not talk. We said we won't talk about the fullbacks. Let's not talk about the fullbacks. We'll be here all night.
I'm going to talk about the fullbacks.
Let's please not do that.
In a minute.
But the thing with the crosses as well is, Beto, he got on the end of one, obviously, to some effect, and guided it well. He didn't really get on the end of the others, and we didn't have enough players in the box to get on the end of the others as well. I think that's still a deficiency we need to work on, is having bodies who are willing to get into the area. If we're going to put in these crosses from wide, if we're going to have the threat from wide, there need to be enough players there to actually make the most of it, which we don't have currently.
Yeah.
So either we don't do that. And I thought that's what the plan was today, because we had a left-footed player on the right, we had a right-footed player on the left. I thought they'll cut in, they'll play the ball, they'll play 1-2s with the strikers, they'll have shots from range. It kind of happened the odd bit in the first half, but yeah, I didn't quite understand. Beto up front, he couldn't trap a ball today. He was poor, to be honest. The first touch of the game he had was
3 minutes into the game. His first touch was
We went back to the halfway line, didn't they?
30-yard miscontrol that went back to their centre midfielder.
Sometimes he looks like two back ends of a pantomime horse running around, doesn't he? I can't quite explain it any better than that. So his replacement, Calvert-Lewin, came on. There's a man who apparently is going to sign a new contract, potentially. I thought, weirdly, he looked like he was trying a bit too hard when he came on.
Oh, he ran about really hard, didn't he? He ran about really hard. He won that, like his first header. He did that big thing where he jumps 20 foot in the air and wins a header that goes out for a throw in. Looks great. Has absolutely no impact on the game. God bless him.
Yeah, Dave, we discussed this on Mailbag this morning, just a little plug for Mailbag there, about whether he should get a new deal. I think the consensus was on that. Basically, we're kind of in a position where we can't get rid of everyone, and if we were to, and I mean this is damning with faint praise, but if we were to replace him, it would cost us a transfer fee plus wages. So it's one of them where maybe we need to keep him on, but I don't know. I'm still dead unsure.
Yeah, I think we've got to keep him. Reluctantly. I mean, it's a crap thing to say, isn't it, when you're trying to make progress as a Premier League football club that doesn't want to be involved in relegation fights, but can he still be handy? Yeah. Can he go back to the way he was when he first came onto the scene as a right wing back? I'm only joking. When he
I mean, to be fair to him, he's been through a lot, hasn't he? In his 10 years at the club, he has been through a lot of shit.
I'm going to get that right wing back poster on my wall. When that team come out against Stoke, wasn't it? For
it was David Claessen's ghost run.
Game of the season.
Was, yeah.
We won 1-0. Jordan Pickford made the best save I've ever seen. In the
Sando's
93rd minute or something. Yeah. Where he one of Stoke's orcs in midfield had an absolute welly from 30 yards and Pickford tipped it over the bar, and that was when I knew Jordan Pickford was going to be an Everton hero.
I think I was still looking into the middle distance thinking about David Claessen's run for Rooney's goal at that point.
Such a good run.
Sorry,
Sando's cross
created so much space.
Calvert-Lewin crossed it.
Oh, did he? Yeah. See, top right wing back.
On the Calvert-Lewin matter, Calvert-Lewin for nothing, or Liam Delap for £30 million, which will need to.
I mean, no brainer, isn't it? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're in that situation now. 15
atrocities.
Well, isn't it?
None of us, and none of us want to see Keith go on a rampage. If you want to do it down Somerset, that's fine, because no one cares.
Nobody wants to see me
not
commit
here,
atrocities.
please.
Do not sign that man. Everton Football Club, if you are listening, do not sign that man.
I know David Moyes is a big fan of the show, but
yeah, he's more of a mailbag fan, I think, Moyes, isn't he?
so here.
He's a big mailbag man. Yeah. That's the situation we're in now. Letting 15 players go, or whatever it is we've got to make a decision now. Is it better to keep them for zero and whatever wages they're going to negotiate, or going into the market and spending money? And with Calvert-Lewin, I mean, it's a bit of a tragedy, the fact he scored so few goals in the last few years, and you would like to have an improvement, but he's not the player I would let go in order to get that next level player. It's probably better to get a fee for.
Yeah, I
Calvert-Lewin, if he's
Yeah.
free, if he wants to play, if he's happy to rotate with someone who maybe is a bit more prolific than he is, fine. The same with a couple of players, Idrissa Gueye as well. Free.
I thought he was good again today. I thought he was great.
He's always
It was good, but I think he's more at fault for their first goal than James Garner is. Yes, James Garner stands off and doesn't rush out to close down, but Idrissa Gueye got sent the fucking shop for that goal. Like, he got skinned by that Inisco, whatever you want to call him. Like, turned inside out for the goal. So Mags has just given me a monkey key. There we go.
That's the monkey's bollocks. That's the curse.
That is.
Let's give some respect to a good Blamo.
Oh, it was a Blamo. It was a Blamo.
We
Wasn't
all
it?
love a Blamo.
There is
well done to
no
him.
better goal genre than barring in.
That one-
I will argue this with anyone, anytime. Barring in is the single-handed best
Yeah,
goal type you can get.
Potentially the best exponent of that was Tony Yeboah.
Yeah, Tony Yeboah scored the best barring in ever.
He
It
did.
was,
Teenagers there, Les.
it was an
One of
absolute.
the teenagers there.
If you haven't seen
See
Tony
that goal on
Yeboah,
TikTok?
he's the lad on YouTube who twatted it from miles out, and it always went in.
He did once against Wimbledon, once against Liverpool. Yeah. Who remembers Wimbledon?
That was back in the days. That was back in the days when goals had stanchions.
Yes.
You used to get stuck in the stanchions as well. There was a couple of them.
Oh,
weren't there?
stuck in the stand.
Stuck.
Should we-
Was it over the line? No, I used to look at them. When since VAR came in and goal line technology, I was thinking that went in the stanchion there. Did it fully cross the line?
Is it all over?
That's what I'm hearing. I'm thinking
Should we
that.
forget about the match today and just talk about stanchions?
I
for a
already
bit?
have, to be honest.
Let's
Right,
just
I'll
talk
tell you
about
what.
stanchions.
We'll wrap up
Did he still have
this
Wrap up
post match
on
then.
stanchions.
No.
amateur football? Did he still
Some
have
do, yeah.
stanchions?
Have you abused the referee yet?
We haven't spoken about the referee.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I did that. What did you think of the referee's rig out? First of all, it was very straight from Tanadici.
It was disgusting. It was vile. It was hideous. Along with his performance, every single collision was a foul, apart from the one that was actually a foul from which they scored their equaliser. Right? I know a lot of people are going to criticise Patterson for this, and yes, he does go down softly, right? But the lad that comes across him and puts his arm across his face wasn't even the boy that played the ball. He did not look at the ball once. He looked at Patterson's run, he ran across him and put his arm up, right? Everywhere else on the pitch, that is a foul. He gave... in the first half, there was another instance. Paddy touched on this on his athletic match roundup and whatnot.
Just speaking of Paddy, he has just gone in. We're just going to try and get him up.
We're
But
going to try and get Paddy on if we can coax him out, right? He said it's baffling that the referee has not blown to stop play when there's a player down holding the head. Exactly the same thing happened first half. One of their lads went down holding his head from a seemingly innocuous collision, and he stopped play, and that was it. It's a head injury. He got to stop play.
Yeah.
He looked at it. He looked at it again, and went, "No, we're going to play on." Right? Inconsistency in refereeing.
I will say the problem there, Patterson was holding his face, which is very different from holding his head.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
okay.
different.
So face, head. Either way, if a player is on the floor with their hands in the upper area of their physique, shall we say?
Should we get the diagram?
I mean,
In the
we're splitting hairs here.
Show me on the
think-
doll where he elbows you in the face.
So essentially, the referee missing that
the referee
kind of led to that
has
goal.
30 seconds
Yeah.
to stop the play there, right? Before it becomes an attacking phase for them. He can stop that when the ball is still in their half, right? It's happened 10 yards from the linesman. The net result of that incident was an Ipswich goal and a yellow card for Nathan Patterson for complaining to the linesman.
Yeah.
PGMOL or PMGOL or whatever they're called are not fit for purpose. This is the worst standard of refereeing there has ever been in the Premier League, because every single one of them goes out there on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon or a Monday night or Tuesday, fucking whatever, right? And relies on VAR to
They do.
either cover up their mistake or vindicate their decision, right? And I will be honest, from what I saw in the stands, there's not enough for a VAR overturn on that. But it should be called on the pitch in the first instance.
Yeah. Okay.
It is the most obvious foul. It's a soft foul. Patterson goes down very easily. He's probably not even hurt. Yeah. Like, his head isn't even hurt, even though he's down on the ground holding his head or his face, as Ed said, right?
But he goes down.
Regardless, right? The fella that's done it did not look at the ball, did not attempt to play the ball. His sole intention was to stop Patterson's run.
It did feel for a while that once the referee had established that, Ipswich, I was going to say Luton, then also a shit team.
Got relegated.
Yeah. What a shame.
Tasty side though. Very tasty.
Breath of fresh air.
No. Once Ipswich players had realised that they can basically do whatever they wanted, they were just all over our players.
Yeah.
And it was like, I know you've been relegated, but you don't have to practice like you're against Millwall already. Like,
they'll be coming up.
No.
Oh no, they didn't make the playoff. They didn't make the playoff, did they? Oh, thank God we can't have that Friday night Millwall game with Bramley Moore. My God.
No, it'll be Coventry. Coventry will come up.
Friday night. Frank's
return to Everton.
Frank Lampard's Coventry.
Sorry.
Sponsored by Frank Lampard. In association with Frank Lampard.
No, thank you for correcting me.
Anyway, let's just quickly wrap up this post match, and we can all go and enjoy some drinks. The referee aside, I thought we did enough to just fuck that game up ourselves anyway. But we've gone through this. We were okay. One thing I do want to. Are
you bothered?
I'm not. Do you know what I mean? It's like it meant nothing.
It was nice that he came over at the end to clap the fans.
Did he? I forgot he was there.
Yeah, I saw him one. I was like, is that Ben Godfrey? The sense person was like,
he got a nice round.
Who's
nice. Ben Godfrey. He was an unused sub for Ipswich.
Oh, was he?
And then he warmed up at the side of the pitch, got a little clap, and then he came over at the end of the match.
He got a little clap.
Yeah,
I thought he was still at Atalanta.
That was nice. Do you know what? He's no Kevin De Bruyne, so he ain't getting a clap from us. We'll round up this post-match reaction. Dave, I'll give the last word to you.
What a great word.
I know, yeah.
I think that's a very good start.
That is the sound that sums up.
Penultimate day, that was, I don't know, after the Lord Mayor's show, wasn't it? And it just feels like we're going through the motions until the 18th. And then let's hope you go and get 3 points against probably one of the worst sides that's ever been promoted in the Premier League. Even Leicester went and beat them today, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think so.
El Trapico.
Please don't cock that one up.
Yeah,
because that'll be devastating. Won't it? We will do. No, Southampton and Ricky Lambert will probably score the winner.
We've got third game against Southampton this season. We will not get a single.
No, we've got all. Southampton have already beaten us once. Already put us out the cup. We've got them last game of the season.
Kevin Davis will score the winner. Or Ricky Lambert. Or Pahars. Or Letitia.
Tiny Armstrong is.
Yeah, it's Tiny Armstrong.
Letitia and Lambert up front.
Anyway, we have got all that to come. But yeah, that has been your post-match reaction for Everton 2. Ipswich 2. Another disappointing day, but you know what? The sun was shining. It was many people's final day at Goodison. It was an emotional time. We've got another one left.
One more.
And then we're done at Goodison forever.
One last dance left. One last dance.
One last dance at Goodison. Feels like it's going to be a sombre occasion, but who knows? We'll make of it what we will. Thanks for listening. That has been your post-match reaction. We'll catch you soon. Up the toffees.